Okay, hi guys, this is Miss Evans. So this is an extra development page that I wanted you guys to do just for a little bit of practice of isometric drawing. I know you all don't really like doing isometric drawing, and a lot of you really find it quite difficult, which is totally understandable. It isn't easy. So I mean, it's just it's really important to be able to draw in isometry, especially if you want to be taking this subject further into GCSE and things. So, but also just in life, like being able to draw in isometric, making your drawings look 3D from a professional way, is a really good skill to have, I think. So we're going to do another development, and this development, I'm not actually worried about the actual development points on this one. If you want to just draw your prototype, I would be absolutely happy with that. I'm happy for you to go ahead and draw exactly what you've done in the prototype. Or if you want to just have another go at your first development drawing that you did at the start, which I've also given you feedback on, that's absolutely okay as well. But yeah, I just want you to, I feel like a lot of the points were missed on the first drawing. So I want you to go back over my feedback really and have a look. But also what I'm going to do in this video is show you what you can do to make your drawings better. If you have isometric paper, great, you can use that. If you don't have isometric paper, don't worry. Really sorry about the banging. That's Ed, my fiance, making lots of noise, but don't worry about him. So yeah, you can use the isometric paper. I forgot to pick myself up some. So if you don't have some, but you really want some, you can just type into Google isometric A4 isometric paper, and you can print some off if you really need it. But you don't necessarily need it to do these drawings. They don't have to be completely perfect. So I'm just going to do one of the examples that is on this page here. So I'm going to start with this one, and then I'm going to do maybe one of these other ones as well, just so you've got an idea of what else you can do. Now, the key point when you're doing an isometric drawing is to start with the corner, the closest bit to you, and it's also easier if you start with your 2D design first, so you kind of know what you should be doing. So my 2D design, I'm going to do a nice big 2D design in this corner, and it's key, a lot of you forgot to draw the thickness of your actual material in your 2D design. So every material has a thickness. You've got to remember that it's got a thickness. So that's the thickness of my piece of wood that has the nice curve in it. I'm then going to have, in the example it just goes flat, but I'm going to add in a curve. And again, this has a thickness. It's not just a line, it's a lot thinner, but it has got a thickness. I'm going to add in a little bit of a thickness to this metal, and the metal goes through and down here. I mean, my pencil is not that sharp. I would probably advise that you get a sharper pencil. Probably should have done that before I started this video, but anyway. Oh. Don't worry if you go off the lines. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Nothing has to be perfect in design. It's kind of a flow. We want the flow. Okay, so that's my 2D design. I will look into the black outline and the rendering later. I've got a black pen ready to go, and I've got some colouring pencils ready to go as well. So I'm ready to do that. But I'm going to get all the drawing elements done first. So I've got up my 2D design. And now I'm going to go for my 3D, using that as a bit of a guide. So I'm going to start with the corner. You always start, can you see my pencil in the shot there? Yeah. I always start with the corner closest to me. And if I look at this example or the product, so if you've got a prototype with you, if you look, this is the corner that's closest, that's the closest corner, that's the closest corner. So you always start with the point that's closest to you, and do the side view as well, which makes it a lot easier. So I'm going to come up along here. Okay, and it goes off on that kind of angle. I then add the thickness in. I'm going to go quite thick. So it's kind of looking very similar to my design at the start. I then go off at a 30-degree angle to create my isometric drawing. So I'm coming away 30 degrees. And this is the bit some of you got wrong as well. When you go away at a 30-degree angle, estimate, I haven't measured that, the other side has to be exactly the same angle. You can't have them tilted in or tilted out because it just won't look right. So make sure these two lines are parallel. So to help you, you could get yourself a ruler and kind of shimmy the ruler over there. It's completely up to you. So that goes off at the same angle, and then at the same distance as well. And then you've got to draw this again on the back, which can be quite tricky sometimes. I think I need to do that a little bit. Yeah, it should be okay. Technical way of measuring there, as you saw. There we go. So we've got my piece of wood. I then need to add the thickness at the bottom because you can't see, that doesn't look right. Remember, in isometric drawings, lines that go down are always vertical. They're not on an angle. So that line's vertical there. And then this one's parallel, and just join up the dots there. So that's my piece of wood. There'll be a hole somewhere in the middle here for my metal to go through. So I can draw that. Make sure the lines are parallel again. So parallel lines, and this next line's going to follow the curve of the wood, so like that, parallel lines, and you would, to be technical here, you would also see the wood, so the other side of the wood in the hole. Can you see that? So now it looks like you can see through, you'd see the back of that there. So you can see I've just ruined it with that extra line. Anyway, we'll carry on. This is where it gets tricky with the metal. A lot of you struggled with the metal side of things, and I probably am as well. An easy way you can do it is get yourself 2 pencils. I should have practiced this first. I think I actually might practice it first. Let me just get another piece of paper, because you don't want to spend ages on your first drawing and then mess it up. So this is a good strategy to practice before you mess up a drawing. So I'm going to get some tape. Just masking tape will do. And what I want you to do is, this is if you struggle with the metal section, which I think everyone did. Make sure your pencils the tips are aligned, even if they're not the same length at the back. I'm going to strap them together, and this will help you get the correct angles on the metal. So start with your the metal parallel to the wood, so on the ends. Okay, so you're starting with it parallel, and that should make it work. So how have I done it? So I've done a little curve here, and you keep them in that position. You just move your hand, but you don't move your fingers. That's really, really important. So I'm going to start down here. So I'm copying that. I'm going to start down here, keeping them at that angle, the 30-degree angle. And is that right? I'm just checking I'm being right. Where's the hole? There. And then I come down. Excellent. I'm happy with that. Okay, so that's my trial. And then you'll see you'll join bits together. I'll show you that in a minute. But I'm happy with my trial, so I feel like I can go for it. on the real McCoy. So keeping my fingers in the right place. I should have sharpened my pencils. Don't press too hard. I pressed a little bit too hard there. So don't press as hard as I just did. Okay, let's go for it. Excellent. Excellent. I'm really happy with that. Okay. So now I can unstrap. I stupidly did it with sticky back with tape, which goes on both sides. Probably not the best idea. Okay, right, get my pencil again. And now I can join up the edges. Okay, remembering when you're joining up, 30-degree angles parallel to all of these. Okay, so edges to edges, keeping them parallel. Parallel. So I've missed, I haven't been quite so parallel here, so I'm just adding a little bit on. Parallel, parallel, parallel. Okay? And then I can, with my black outline, you'll be able to see it better. So let me, let's do the black outline now. Now I'm going to also add something to your black outline learning. That you would see that bit first. I'll do it first and then. So some of you forgot to do a black outline. Really easy to lose marks by not doing a black outline. So make sure you always do a black outline. Really, really important. I also need to add the thickness. Some of you might have noticed this, the thickness of the side of the metal. And I'm going to do that in a moment. I should have probably done that first, actually. You won't see that part of the metal, so I'm going to leave that. Because it's behind the piece of wood. See that edge? Okay. I need a rubber. My rubber on here is not great. Okay, hopefully you won't be able to see it with my. That's just smudging it, so I'm not going to do that. Black outline. This as well. Actually, I'm going to colour it. No, I'll go for it. I don't want to make sure I'm doing it all perfectly for you guys. Probably end up being quite a long video, so hopefully you're drawing as well as watching me. And I said we needed to add in the thickness of the metal, didn't I? So it's just a very thin. There we go. Oh, that's such a thick line. Okay. We are getting there. Sorry for how long this video is. What's good is you can pause it and watch it in your own time. Okay, super. Awesome. Okay, so now I'm gonna do some rendering. So obviously for wood, we are going to be needing, these kind of colours. So you could even use a white. Try to make sure the grain is always going in one direction. So I'm just going to colour it in. And what I want you to think about is also the tone. So obviously, shapes, if they're being shadowed by a part of the product, for example, the metal on the bottom below my hand right now is being shaded by the wood at the top, right? So that metal is going to be slightly darker than the metal on the top. And the same goes for the side of the product too. So I'm pressing a little bit harder on these sides to show that a bit of tonal. And it makes it look more 3D. Bit of orange. I wish I had a pencil sharpener right about now. And it's not perfect. I'm not the best. I'm not being super neat when it comes to this colouring in and rendering, but I'm being careful. Okay, bit of yellow on the outside. Okay, great. And I could even, add some grains in there if you wanted to. Don't have to. Don't know if this has ruined it or not, but there we go. Okay, perfect. So we've got that. Now I need to do the same to the metal. So really nice and light. on the top. And slightly darker on the sides to show the thickness. Slightly darker underneath, and again on the sides, slightly darker under here too.
Hi, miss. I have a question.
Okay, Maddie, I'll be with you in 2 minutes. Okay, I'm just finishing a video. I'll be with you in 2 seconds. Okay. Okay, so I'm... Right, so I'm just going to quickly finish this in. Okay. And then the last thing you need to do is your white box around the outside. I need to work quickly because Maddie is waiting for me. And you're just doing a white box at some point in the image, behind, sorry, like so. And that lifts it off the page. And there we go. Well, actually, you also need to render this design. So with the rendering pens, you can also do this. Just a little bit. I'm rushing now because I need to talk to Maddie, but there we go. Okay, that's it. Oh, there we go. You can see it now. Perfect. Thank you very much.